Hey, yo, what up? Welcome back. This is Markman Comics. My name is Rob Markman. Thank you for everybody who shows up to the channel to support. A lot of y'all know I'm building this channel brick by brick. I have my other main channel, Rob Markman, where I talk about music. This is the one where I talk about my passion, talk about comic books. Another passion of mine is comic books, and it's a passion of y'all's too, because y'all are here. It's New Comic Book Day. I'm going to do something a little bit different, man. So, spoiler alert, if you do not want to be spoiled, you can click out. But New Comic Book Day, the big book that everybody's talking about is Absolute Batman number 15. All right, the Joker, the origin of the Joker. The first appearance, I believe, but there's been like cameos before. I wonder what they would count, but I think this is going to be the first appearance of the Joker. Nick Dragotta cover. The cover is amazing. I mean, it's polarizing. Some people love this design, some people hate it, but the whole thing about the Absolute series has just been so over the top, from Batman just looking more like a linebacker. You know, if you've been reading along, Bane was literally larger than life. So they've been swinging for the fences with this one. So they did a real extreme design with Joker. I know some people hate it. I love it. I think this is going to be huge. You can catch me. It's Wednesday night, but you can catch me Thursday. I'm going to try to make it to Midtown Comics, to the Scott Snyder is signing this issue. So I'm going to go hang out. So if y'all see me there, say what's up. But, you know, I'm kind of going to talk about this issue, run through it. I'm going to put some images on the screen. So, again, there's spoiler alerts. If you don't want to be spoiled, I won't be offended, but you can click out. The one maybe criticism I have of this issue, I love the issue. One criticism I have, if any, is Nick Dragotta didn't do the interiors. I think I love just what he's been doing on art. Jock filled in for this, and the art is actually dope. The art is dope. I can't even front, but I just feel like Nick Dragotta should have had this. Is such an important issue. I haven't been the biggest fans of the fill-ins. If there's any criticism about this series, is I just want to see Nick throughout because he's so great, and him and Scott have been killing it. But the art is dope, but Jock did the art. It wasn't Nick Dragotta. So basically, what the issue is it tells the origin of the Joker, of the new Absolute Joker, and a lot of it is told almost like in flashbacks, and a lot of it is Alfred Pennyworth telling Bruce the story of the Joker, because Alfred has been following him and trying to take him down, and he has a hunch that something is wrong. It is very interesting in this book, and you know, Absolute turns everything on its head, right? And we know Batman is a blue collar worker. He is not the rich billionaire playboy Bruce Wayne with everything at his disposal, like we know Batman to be. He's blue collar. He's a worker. It's interesting. The Joker in this one is rich, filthy rich, trillionaire. You know what I'm saying? So they kind of flipped that on his head. They flipped positions and put the Joker as the wealthy and Batman, you know, pulling himself up by the bootstraps. So that'll be interesting to see how that plays out. But yeah, the book is telling the origin of the Joker through flashbacks, and Alfred is almost like scared or hesitant to tell this story to Bruce, and Bruce is constantly like yo, spit it out, yo, just say what you want to say, and then we get the story little by little. But you know, the Joker is this guy named Jack Grimm, is his alias, and he owns private islands where he hunts humans, which is crazy. Kind of reminds me, when I was reading it, I was like, I wonder if it was inspired by like Epstein Island, just like, you know, this island where rich people just go to play and do horrific and horrendous things. It'll be interesting if Scott ever talks about his inspiration for that. The splash page is super dope. If you could see, and I'm gonna put this on screen, the Joker smile, like in the red strings that connect all the things. Jock, right in the splash page, has Joker represented right there. You know, it's kind of like the Joker smile. Very abstractly. So, you know, I thought that was dope. And then you can see Batman's cowl at the top too. So, you know, a bit of foreshadowing in it. And Alfred starts to tell the story. He starts to tell the story of, you know, a kid named Joseph Grimm the First. Jack is what they called him. And he grew up as an orphan on the streets of Gotham and made his living as a street performer. You know, he could just make people laugh, right? And he dressed up as a clown and will make people laugh, and he would make money on the streets. His reputation grew, and his clown act, you know, he went to vaudeville, and he took the money from vaudeville, and then he invested in his own theaters. So he started his own chain of theaters called Just Kidding, JK, and invested in silent pictures, and kind of grew, like pulled himself up. So a self-made man. And then, they talk about how mysterious he is, but, he and how much he was into philanthropy and, like gave back to Gotham and specifically children causes like orphanages and things like that. And it kind of, again, juxtaposes with like Thomas Wayne, right? Like, his name would be all over Gotham because of the things that he donated. This Jack Grimm didn't put his name on stuff, but he did donate his money. And they say he died in 1938, right? Buried in the family crypt there in Gotham. And then here comes Jack Jr., his son, and carried on and went into entertainment, right? And, was one of the early financiers of television. And then also carried on with philanthropy. And again, opening homes for orphans across the country. And then in the 60s, Jack Jr.'s son, Jack Grimm III, starts one of the first cable networks. And so they're all in entertainment, right? And then by the time we get to Jack IV, who was born in the 70s, in the late 70s, he gets into gaming, so he's invested. So it's all forms of entertainment. And then Jack V is online gaming and was a primary backer in the graphics processing units in the chips that the entire bloody world runs on, is what Alfred says. So, and he becomes, Jack V becomes a trillionaire. You know what I'm saying? So they just grow the family business. So we're on this island again, and again, Bruce is trying to pull the story out of him. It gets a little darker, right? So he tells the story, and then he's like, well, the first Jack didn't really, like, he used to make people laugh on the street as a street performer, but he was outside of a dentist's office. And this is like the advent of laughing gas. So he wasn't really making people laugh, but he was like siphoning gas out of the dentist's office and used the laughing gas on people for his street tricks, right? And then that would make people laugh and susceptible to give him more money. So it was something a little sinister about him. And then, it just goes on like, oh, this guy also didn't just build up his theaters. He would like fund the competition. Like he was playing a game, like very shrewd, right? And then basically he goes on to tell the story. We see him here hunting a man. Again, like I get like Epstein Island vibes. Like you go to this island to hunt people which you've kidnapped and trap them on the island and then go back there to hunt them. But start talking about how they use the kids for sinister things. And Alfred's not quite sure and doesn't say what it is, but he says, I believe he uses the children, Bruce. At first, he used the ones in the orphanages, and now he uses something else. He has found some way, I don't know, using their cells, using the research done at the Arcs, some terrible elixir. And that's what gives Joker whatever form that he takes on, right? It almost seems like, because he could walk around as a human and then he walks around as that beast that we see. And it looks like in the comic, that he almost transforms on command. And it's something that he's doing with some stem cell research or something with these kids, right? And he's just hideous, just a hideous, look at that. Of course, I'm going to show it on the screen. And then what you kind of find out, or what Alfred kind of says, is, that whole story of Jack the First, Jack Jr., Jack the Third, is that he doesn't really believe that this guy has descendants, that it's been the same guy the whole time, that it's been Jack the First the whole time. And again, he has something he's doing with the kids, something that's keeping him alive and youthful and monstrous. So this is all just an origin story. And then we get towards the end, and we see him pull back up to Gotham after he does the hunt on his island, and he pulls back up to like an estate. I mean, it kind of looks like what Wayne Manor is, right? Probably on the same grounds. And he has a butler kind of similar to his own Alfred, and he's going home. And then at the end he says, the butler is asking him, "Are you hungry?" And he's like, "No, I ate." And then he says, "I have plans to make though. So if you need me, I'll be in the cave." He turns the clock, the door opens, and he goes down. Oh shit, the Joker has a bat cave. The Joker has his own cave. The Joker is the Bruce Wayne that we know, and he's evil. And it's essentially an origin story, but it was great. And the thing, if you look on that last page, remember how I told you on the first page how they kind of represented the Joker smile without showing the Joker. And if you look on this panel of this last page, when he goes down the staircase to get to the cave, you can see the Joker smile again in red. So again, kind of foreshadowing the villain that he is. Man, I thought it was great. I thought it was well written. I thought the art was dope. I'm not shitting on the art. It's just I prefer Nick Dragata. But this is the best comic book series, hands down, out right now. Like it keeps you. The key to this is you get to the end, and you're like, yo, I can't wait to the next issue. And that's how it was with the Bane issue, with issue number 14. You finish reading that, and it was like, yo, I can't. Oh, we knew the next issue was going to be, yo, I can't wait to the next issue. You finish reading this, it's like, yo, I can't wait to the next issue. To me, that continuity and that thing that keeps you coming back, keeps you wanting to go to the store on new release day to make sure you get your copy. It's the first thing you read when you pick up your pile of new books. That's what works for this series, man. They're doing an amazing job, and I can't wait for the next issue. But hit me in the comments. Let me know if you are reading Absolute Batman. Let me know if you checked out issue 15. Let me know what you think. This is amazing, man. Best comic book series this year. Best comic book series out right now since it started. And I think it's only going to get better, so we're going to see. Until the next time. Peace.